Some Republicans in the House and Senate plan to use the Congressional Review Act to protect law-abiding gun owners from unjust regulations and overreach by the ATF with their recently published pistol stabilizer brace regulation.
As soon as the ATF's unlawful rule is published to the Federal Register, I will introduce a resolution of disapproval under the Congressional Review Act to override the Biden administration's unlawful overreach.
This new rule, decided by unelected anti-gun bureaucrats, turns law-abiding gun owners into criminals in less than 120 days. On Monday, Republican Andrew Clyde of Georgia gave a speech on the House floor and said that he will introduce the Stop Harassing Owners of Rifles Today Act to repeal parts of the National Firearms Act and stop the ATF from registering and banning guns with stabilizer braces. Additionally, he stated he will introduce a resolution of disapproval under the Congressional Review Act.
I rise today in the defense of America's Second Amendment freedoms. The Biden administration is moving forward with yet another gun-grabbing tactic in order to register and ban millions of firearms, moving one step closer to the left's ultimate goal of disarming our nation and dismantling our Second Amendment freedoms. Earlier this month, the ATF finalized an unconstitutional rule pertaining to firearms with stabilizing braces. Under the ATF's new rule, any pistol-brace firearm would be considered an illegal short-barreled rifle, making these guns subject to the draconian regulations under the National Firearms Act of 1934. Let me be clear, unelected anti-gun bureaucrats at the ATF do not have the authority to make laws. That authority rests right here in Congress. And Congress cannot continue turning a blind eye to the Biden administration's weaponization of the National Firearms Act and ongoing assault on Americans' Second Amendment freedoms. Next week, I will reintroduce the Stop Harassing Owners of Rifles Today Act, or the SHORT Act, to repeal elements of the National Firearms Act, thereby prohibiting the ATF from registering and banning pistols with stabilizing braces. Additionally, as soon as the ATF's unlawful rule is published to the Federal Register, I will introduce a resolution of disapproval under the Congressional Review Act to override the Biden administration's unlawful overreach.
Well, what exactly is the Congressional Review Act? And can it actually work? The Congressional Review Act, or CRA for short, has been used successfully to repeal federal regulations, a total of 16 times since its inception in 1996. The CRA gives Congress the power to overturn regulations issued by federal agencies with a simple majority vote in both the House and Senate, and with the signature of the President. It is worth noting that the CRA is a relatively rare tool, as it can only be used within a limited time frame, 60 legislative days, after a regulation has been published in the Federal Register. As a result, the CRA has been used successfully a limited number of times, but it has still been an effective tool for Congress to review and overturn regulations issued by federal agencies. Since President Biden appointed a director of the ATF as part of his administration's efforts to implement his gun control policy priorities, the chance of President Joe Biden signing the Congressional Review Act for the ATF's new pistol stabilizer brace regulation is 0.00001%. However, Clyde is right when he pointed out in a following session what comes before gun confiscation.
As we have seen across the world time and time again, what comes before gun confiscation? Gun registration.
Subscribe to our channel, because we the people are endowed by our Creator with these unalienable rights: life, liberty, and guns.